Hey. CMA. Each day, you continue to teach me about life, about the way it should be lived.
Lee Anthony getting very emotional at the memorial for Kaylee Anthony and repeating the initial CMA, which we later learned stand for Kaylee, Cindy, and Casey, all three. Casey's parents, George and Cindy, showed up in court today for their daughter's hearing, but noticeably absent was Lee Anthony, the brother you just heard from. Phone lines lighting up. Lois, North Carolina, your question or thought, ma'am? Lois?
Yes.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Great. What's your question or thought, ma'am?
I have a question and a comment. My question is, I know that Casey's mother, father, and brother have been subpoenaed to go to trial. Will her grandmother also appear?
Well, Gene Casares, I believe so, because I know that we just read transcripts of Cindy's mother, Casey's maternal grandmother, saying a lot of very negative things about Casey Anthony.
She has a lot of information. She was interviewed by authorities. I definitely expect she will be on the witness list. And an interesting thing in Florida law is that when you are subpoenaed, you are then given a type of youth immunity. So anything you say will not be held against you in the future in regard to charges. Won't apply to the grandmother, but possibly to other family members.
Interesting. Barbara, California, your question or thought, ma'am?
Yes. I was just wondering if Kaylee could have drowned in that backyard pool, and because Casey, knowing what a strange girl she is, went through this entire route because she was scared to death of her mother.
Well, Vinnie Parco, I believe that authorities have concluded that this is premeditated murder and not accidental, correct?
That's what I was told, but we don't know. I haven't seen the autopsy, so we don't know.
Well, let me go back to Jean. Jean, the way she is charged with murder, this is not an accidental death, according to prosecutors, correct?
Well, it could be an aggravated child abuse that culminates in the killing of the child. So that could involve a pool situation if we knew more of the details, if anything like that happened.
All right. We have seen Casey in court about 5 times this year so far. I personally always find her wardrobe choices absolutely fascinating. Today, Casey was wearing a purple shirt and blue pants. She had her hair in a ponytail, as you can see there, and seemed to have a little bit more eye makeup than on previous days. Let's take a look back at her evolution. The last time she was in court, which was March 12th, she wore a white cardigan sweater with a purple shirt beneath. Some even commented that she appeared to have gained some weight. The time before that, it was a blue shirt with hair flowing, looking kind of like a teenager, but because the cameras were restricted, we only got a shot pretty much from behind. And the very first time she came to court dressed up, not in a uniform, was back in January. She wore a gray suit jacket with her hair in a prim bun. You know, Darren Kavanoki, it seems like they cannot decide on a look for her. What do you think her trial consultants are thinking? This is a very schizophrenic, constantly changing look.
Well, she gets to try out a few different looks until they ultimately decide on one. And it's so interesting how this case is playing out, because clearly the presence of the camera, it's like the 13th juror. And now we've got the opportunity, because so much of this purported evidence, so much of the investigative materials are just being released without regard to what's actually going to come into evidence. We now have the opportunity to try on different defenses, as the last caller said, to try on different looks and see what's resonating with people in the court of public opinion.
Right, and don't tell me that this is all spontaneous and there's no planning involved. I know a lot of trial consultants, and they will all tell you that all of this is very carefully worked out. Liz, Louisiana, your question or thought, ma'am?
Yes, you all are talking about all the defense help that she's getting. I am convinced that that is pro bono. These people want their name on national television.
Well, Paul Callan, what do you think about that?
Oh, I think it's quite possible. I mean, look at Jose Baez. He's now become probably the most famous lawyer in Florida, maybe in the country, at least currently.
Or infamous.
Yes, who are infamous, but he's gotten his name out there. I suspect that most all of these attorneys are working for free, and that if you looked at the fee arrangement, that's what you'd find. They're in it for the publicity. They're in it for public relations purposes.
So why won't they just say that?
because it's embarrassing, and it's also nobody's business. You know, this is such a rare thing that a judge would call a lawyer into chambers and ask him how he's being paid. They didn't do it with Bernie Madoff's lawyers. They don't do it with white-collar lawyers. Why should Casey Anthony's lawyers be questioned about this? It's an invasion of her privacy. If some attorney wants to do this for free for the publicity, then he has every right to do that.
I got to jump to this one issue, Darren Kavanaugh. Private Eye Jim Hoover, who used to work for the Anthonys, was deposed today. The civil case against Casey by Zenaida Gonzalez. He was asked whether there is a relationship between another private eye who worked for the Anthonys, Dominic Casey, and Casey's mother, Cindy Anthony. At least that's the reports. Is that just irrelevant? This poor woman's been through hell. Now they're asking these kind of questions.
Yeah, I would certainly line up in that camp that this is absolutely irrelevant. And really, I mean, you talk about these people going through hell. That really understates it dramatically, Jane.
All right, thank you to my excellent panel. We will have more key items in the Casey Anthony case in just a bit. But first, another frantic search underway. This one for a 36-year-old mother of two, 19 days.
Okay. The hair comment from Jane saying it was flowing like a teenager's because her hair is down. Now Jane's hair is down, Nancy's hair is down, my hair is down, and I could think of trillions of people who wear their hair down. But to say that it's like a teenager, I don't know why she said that. The clothing, Cindy supplies the clothing, more than likely from Casey's wardrobe. So Cindy brings in what Casey's going to wear to court that day. Regarding Dominic Casey and Cindy having an affair, well, it would be relevant in this case, considering that this affair started while Kaylee was missing. So that's a little suspect to have Dominic Casey and Cindy Anthony having an affair, alleged affair, and Dominic Casey going around the corner to go look for Kaylee. So that's all I have to say for now.